Hey carp anglers, Paul Metz here, Team Fish Fighters, aka Sinister 6. Today, I've had a lot of people ask me what my favorite rigs are, Pay Lake and Whitewater. So, I'm going to show you those rigs today. They're my go-to rigs pretty much every time I go fishing. So, I'll show you these items today and where they're from, what you do with them, and how to make the rigs that I make and use and have full confidence in. So, to do that, you're going to need some hair rigs, which I get mine from Brian Banks on the Bank Hooks. You can look him up on Facebook. My Pay Lake rigs also from Brian Banks. Sinkers now. Getting the lead out. Robbie Bishop, new owner of Getting the Lead Out, going to do a great job. Wild water, multiple kinds, multiple styles for leg clips, different sizes, different shapes. Pay Lake, different sizes, different shapes, different textures. For the lead clip ones, you'll need a lead clip, and you'll need some bait stock. You'll need a boilie, pop-ups. I use corn from Bottom Feeder Baits. Pickups for tie bugs pickups. Nothing else out there works. With that, you'll need, I got pre-tied cut length of string. You'll need your Pay Lake set up, swivel, 2 leads. That's how I run mine. One with a bead, one without. And I'll explain the bead in a minute. Pay Lake sinker. Getting the lead out. And a bead to protect your knot from the sinker. First thing I do is I feed my string into my sinker, then into my bead, and then I double back the line because I use a polymer knot. Just double it back. Feed your double line through your swivel. Plain overhand knot. The tag end of that knot, you want to bring your hooks and rig up through that tag end to create that polymer. Then you moisten it. Pull it tight. Get your knot puller. Pull it down snug. Knot puller is one of the tools you'll need. Baiting needles. They're custom from Eric Hickman, Sunny 3D Printing. There's multiple kinds, styles out there. I just prefer to be different. Then you take the tag in, cut that off. And when you bring everything together, your rig looks just like that. That is a Pay Lake rig. And to bait that Pay Lake rig, I always do a snowman rig on my hook with no bead. On the hook with a bead, I will put one small pickup. And then it will look just like this. This one with the bead will stay down in the hook, in the bait, I'm sorry. And this one will float up and be a flagger. Another way to control that is split shots. You can take that split shot and put it just below your hook, like so. And I'll show you what that does in the water. We'll go over here. So now when I put this in the water, of course your one will be in the bait. And the other won't be. And that's how your pay lake rig sets. That's how my pay lake rig sets every time I'm fishing a pay lake. One stays in the bait, and one is a flagger. As you can see, the flagger is 3.5 inches off the floor, and the one with the bead stays in the bait. That is my pay lake rig. For that you'll need hair rig, section of line which will be coming off your rod, getting the lead out sinker with a lead clip. You got to feed it in the head of the lead clip. Double it back for your polymer. Take your hair rig with the swivel end. Put your double end in. Same thing as the pay lake. Basic overhand knot. Come out, pull the whole rig through that tag end of the knot. Same thing, wet it. Knot puller. Nice pair of nice sharp scissors. And you trim that tag in. Okay, so now watch this. That lead clip. See, that lead clip will accommodate that swivel. That swivel will go in that lead clip and lock that down. So when that lead clip will drop off and you're able to lose your lead and have a free line while you're fighting that fish. No snags, nothing. Okay, so you know that. We'll put that back together. You just snug that up real little, and that allows, when that is setting there, bam. So now I'm going to show you how to tie that snowman rig that I love so much. For that you'll need your drill, bait needle, boilie, Mr. Joe Lutz, thank you sir. Any boilie will work. That is a 24 millimeter, and a pop-up, 15 millimeter pop-up. First we'll start by drilling a hole in your boilie. Then you drill your hole in your pop-up. The pop-up goes on top, so you need it on the bait needle first. And then your boilie on the bait needle. And take your hair rig and you attach it. Pull the boiler down, pull your pop-up down. Pop-up poke through. Now you have a place for your bait needle, bait stop. Hair's not quite long enough on that hair rig. There it is. Turn bait stop off, pull pop up tight, pull your boilie up, and there you have snowman rig. Now when that sets in the water, what you're about to see, that sinker will hit with your pack bait, hook will lay on the ground, snowman will stand up. One of the carp's favorite things. Follow me to the water. Look at them tie bug pickups bleeding in there. Here goes the snowman rig again. As you can see, snowman's just setting up nice and pretty. Perfect balance. When that carp comes down onto that, that will just automatically suck right up in his mouth. And the only thing to get him is that hook. So there you have the snowman rig that I use a lot. And look at that boilie already bleeding. Okay, so my rattlesnake tail. This is my rig I love a lot. My PB come off of this, common, 35 pounds, 1 ounce. Just a tremendous fish. So I always fish this rig. Caught numerous of fish, St. Lawrence Marathon on this rig. It's just a rig I always put in the water no matter what. I call it the rattlesnake tail, and you'll see why. So you'll need that long hair. I do 4 corn, real corn, bottom feeder baits, 2 fake corn. The white one's normally yellow. I don't have any yellow at the moment, and 1 small floating yellow corn. That white corn's normally yellow floating corn. First thing you do is, of course, drill your corn out underneath your bait needle. You always want to put your smallest piece of that rattlesnake on top first, which is that small floating corn. Next will be the second piece of floating corn. Then you will get your real corn, flavored bottom feeder baits, and try to go smallest to biggest on bottom. And that's what you end up with. A 6-stack rattlesnake tail. Of course, you put it on your bait, on your hair rig. I slide my corn down first, then I slide my fake down. Take off your bait needle. Put your bait stop in. Pull your fakes up to the bait stop. Trim off the rest of the bait stop. Pull the rest of your corn up. And there you have the rattlesnake tail. That goes on just like any other thing. On your line just like any other. Put your leg clip tail rubber. Put your lead clip back to the polymer knot. Double it over. Through the swivel on your hook link. Remember, basic overhand knot. And that tag end of that overhand knot, your whole rig has to go through. Just like so. Moisten your line. Pull it down snug. Knot puller again. Thank you, Eric. These tools are nice. Then you trim the tag end. Nice and close. And once again, now you could use a leg clip system if you're in a weedy area, snaggy area. That just helps you drop the lead so you can fight the fish freely. You could use an inline system. Raw B Bishop also has inline. This would also work as an inline, because at the base of here there's a tiny little hole. You could snap that whole swivel in place, snap, put a pin in there and make that to where it will not be, and it'll be, as soon as that carp picks up on it, bang, he's hooked. So there is my rattlesnake tail, everybody. That's Bubba's go-to right there. I'll show you that in the water and you'll see why. Once again, there's the rattlesnake. As you can see, it just stands up. And look how it dances around. No matter what, that will always have movement. Always. Did you see how perfectly balanced that was? Look at that. As soon as that carp tries to suck it, the whole thing in his throat. Snowman. Rattlesnake. Snowman. Pay lake rig. One hook has a bead, one don't. The bead in the split shot keep your one hook in the bait pile. One is a flagger. And that's my go-to rigs. Pay lake and wild water. I hope it helped you guys. Now I'm going to show you a little thing about presentation. It matters a lot. You could have it way wrong or just right. And way wrong, of course, you don't want. So I'm going to show you a thing or two about it. Same thing as always. Your line off of your rod. And this just happens to be getting the lead out inline. Same thing as before. Polymer knot. Basic overhand. Bring the tail end of the knot through. Remember, bring your rig through that tail end of that knot, or it will not be a polymer knot. wetting it down, pull tight, trim tag end off. And there you have it in line. With your hair rig. And for this example, I'll show you it's just a pop-up. A plain pop-up. I do throw single pop-up rigs. A lot of people do, I imagine. So you'll feed that onto your bait needle. If I had my glasses, this would be easier, everybody. Pull your pop-up down onto your hair. Get your bait stops. Pop your bait stop on in there. Trim it off. Pull your pop-up up tight. Okay, now everybody just gonna go throw that out in the water just like it is. Okay? A lot of people will. Well, that's where they're going wrong. Because when you throw that out in the water, the whole length of your hook link is going to float. Well, that's not what carp want, because they're bottom feeders most of the time. So they want it within 3 inches from the bottom. In order to do that, split shots on your string will bring that down further, and it will put that wherever you want the split shot, however low you want it, is where you put your split shot. I don't like going no higher than 3 inches unless I'm zig fishing, which is a whole totally different rig. It's for fishing different levels of the water column. Some days it's sunny, the fish will be in the suspended. You want to fish suspended, longer leads, longer rigs. They call it a zig rig. I do believe it's from Europe. So I'll show you without the split shot. Let's go to the water. The control part about this, you'll see. Watch. When you cast your rod, don't know nothing about it. This is what's important about testing your rigs before you cast them in a lake. You want to know what they're doing out there. You want to see and know exactly how your bait's setting when you put your bait out there. Presentation's everything to that carp that has to get comfortable with eating your bait. You hear what I said? Has to get comfortable with eating your bait. So here's this, and this is why not to just throw your stuff out there. Follow me to the water and we'll show you. So you just cast, boom. Now look what you have. Zoom in on it and see. So you have the sinker and a hook link. Goes all the way up to the top of the water. Now your bait is 10 inches off the bottom of the lake. Okay? So that's one thing that I don't like about just casting. So now watch. I bring it back out. It's important, you know, have a bucket of water at the lake with you where you're fishing on the bank so you can test this stuff before you fish. You'll feel better about sitting there waiting. So you take your split shot and you place it wherever you want that bait off the bottom. They sell putty, line putty. I just use split shots. I try not to use no shiny ones, just the dull colored ones. No shiny split shots. And now watch the difference. With just that little split shot, watch what happens. Now we cast our pole. Now look at my pickup. Look at my pop-up now. So now you have your sinker, your hook link, and your pop-up. Now that's cold. controlling your pop-up. I can put that split shot anywhere on that hook link and change that to figure out where them carp are feeding. Man, I hope this helps you guys. If you like this, you remember, hit that like and subscribe. We're here just to help teach guys, teach anybody, really. Hope some of these rigs will help for you guys. Presentations, everything. I will not fish blind. I want to know what my rigs are doing out there at all times. I wind it in, something's different, change it back to how it was. Keep it the same. That carp has to get used to it. So you can control that anywhere. I'll move that split shot one more time. I'll slide it further to the hook. Down to the knot. Now watch how far off the bottom that pop-up will be. You see your sinker? Now look. Bam. Perfect presentation. Perfect. Okay, so now the pack bait, how it goes in the water, what it does. You all saw the rigs, how my go-to rigs. So now we'll show you what those rigs do with the pack bait in the water. Give you like some type of little time lapse. Watch what that bottom feeder baits actually does. This is the tournament blend, my favorite. There's so many different things in there. Those of you that don't know pack bait, this is pack bait. That's the tournament blend. You can mix it with cream corn, whole corn. James sends out an instruction paper with all his baits. So we'll get them baited up and we'll drop them in the water. That way you can see the presentation with the pack baits. We'll go pay lake rig first. Remember, it's got the bead on it. Snowman rig on the other. You'll see why. The one with the bead will go in the bait. In the bait. Just like so. That one being a flagger. Flagger, beading the bait. Next one we'll show you snowman rig with the lead clip system. Pay lake rig, I pack the bead one in my bait. Wild water, I do not put my bait, my hook rig in the bait. I pack my bait around my lead. Like so. Just like so. A lot of people will put a hitchhiker. I don't like to, because my bait will slowly fall. The pack bait will fall faster than my hook bait. Then the next one is my rattlesnake tail that I showed you guys. That's a bad rig. Same thing, drop lead clip. On the lid. just like the snowman. That is pay leg rig. You can see that breaking. You already have a flagger. Now for the wild water snowman rig. Now for the rattlesnake tail. And also that single pop-up rig where I showed you guys how to control it with the split shot so it don't float all over the place. And that'll be that rig. So there you have it. 4 of my go-to rigs. As you can see, the Pay Lake rig has the double flagger with the one hook bait in the bag, pack bait. Snowman rig lays beside the pack bait, rattlesnake beside it. Pop up. You could already see the molasses bleeding out of that pack bait. That's what that bottom feeder baits does. So there's your go-to rigs for Paul. Snowman, Pay Lake rig. As you see, you got one hook bait in there and one flagging. Look at that molasses. Super attractive. So we'll just set this and show you guys a little time lapse here. Watch how this pack bait just leaks out stuff. Now mind you, this is in a confined space. So in the river, your liquid, your flavors, your molasses, it would all be dispensed throughout the columns of the water. And of course you guys can flavor that pack bait any flavor you want. One on Bubba's R&W. Those are my go-to flavors. You see what my rigs will do if there's any movement in the water. And you just see that. And carp see that, and that's what gets them. They have to be comfortable. Now that's how you balance bait right there. Bottom feeder baits. That's what does it. So there you have it, folks. That's my go-to rigs. I think every angler should do something like that before they go to their venue and fish, because you want to make sure that your rigs are setting perfect. I mean, myself, all I do is sit and worry about what is going on out there. Now I know, and I'd advise you guys to check this out. Even in a bucket, you don't have to use a fish tank. I don't always use a fish tank. But if these videos help, I appreciate it. Good luck to you guys. Thanks for watching. Remember, like and subscribe. Team Fish Fighters. Practice good carp care. Landing nets. Cradle. Landing mats. Good wave sling. Big shout out to all of them. One on baits, R&W, Bubba, Joe Lutz. Thank you, sir. Team Fish Fighters, James Sanders. None of this could be possible without you. Big thanks. Tie Bug and pickups, baby. You already know. Big Money Beepers, Mike Thornburg. Thank you, sir. Getting the lead out, Robbie Bishop. Can't hold bottom without you. On the bank hooks, Brian Banks. Hashtag they'll hold. 724 Graphics. Jeff Zebley. Always hooking me up with the finest. Eric Hickman. Sunny 3D Graphics. He's the guy responsible for all my bait needles. My grinder. My boilie chopper. Check him out on Facebook. Sunny 3D Graphics. Make you a grinder. Joe Lutz. One on baits, R&W, Bubba's. Bottom feeder baits, James Sanders. You already know what they want. Bottom feeder baits, corn, tiger nuts, jumbo corn. And then pickups, tie bugs. Yes, they are. Black Widow. He also makes pops. If you guys are interested in the pops instead of kicks. On the bank hook. Pre-tied. Pay Lake rigs and hair rigs. Alright, so y'all saw my rigs. Everything that I have to do. Don't forget, while you're waiting on your poles, look him up. Big Mike Beepers, Mike Thornburg. Got them good looking beepers, boy. Can't sleep with those. Multiple colors. Pager system. Look him up. He'll hook you up. Big Mike Beepers. Thank you for all my sponsors. Absolutely. Can't do none of this without you guys. So remember, hit that like and subscribe button. Until next time, tight lines, wet nets.